Well, John, Betfred World Championship is upon us again. Just how excited are you to be heading back to the Crucible?
Yeah, really excited. I think this will be the first year since the pandemic we'll be going back there, and it'll be like full capacity for all the games. And I think the crowd will have missed it as well. So I think they'll all be going there in their droves to actually watch all their favourite players. So it should be a special tournament.
Yeah, do you think even for someone as experienced as you, the butterflies will be there a little bit, having a kind of fully normal World Championship again?
Always. Any time you do go back to Crucible, I even said it even when we were playing without the crowds. I still got mental butterflies playing there. So it'll be even better this time.
Yeah, 12 months ago you spoke really honestly about, I think in that match with Tian Pengfei, you were saying you couldn't breathe at times, and then you talked about your fitness maybe not being good enough, and you put all the work in over the summer. And I think you were saying that although you've been like that all season, it's all been geared towards looking at the World Championship, has it?
Yeah, well, I think it has. I think I just didn't want to go back there feeling having the same memories that I had the 12 months previous. So I think that was just the main thing that was in my mind, really, because it is a cramped space that you're actually sitting in, and as well, as I said at the time, there's like the barrier, like the glass barrier, that makes it even more cramped. So it was not a great place to be. So hopefully get back there this year and put up a better fight.
And do you think that might give you, I mean, you obviously in recent years have had a really fantastic record there, getting to the final in 17, 18 and 19, but do you think the work you've done on your fitness might give you an edge that you even didn't have back then?
You'd love to think so, really. I mean, who knows, because I mean, during the season you don't get to play a lot of big frame matches apart from like finals or the Tour Championship that we just played in. So you're hoping that can give you a little bit of an edge.
How mentally demanding is the World Championship? Because it's different to any other tournament, isn't it? There's so much snooker to be played. 17 days is a real marathon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real marathon. It really is, and it's enjoyable, but it's also it can get on top of you sometime as well, because it's just continual. At the start of the event, you've got a lot of time off, but then if you're getting through to the later stages of it, it just becomes a bit of like you play a match and then you're off, you play a match then you're off. It's like a mental sprint to play different sessions, different matches. So, but as I've always said, it's the best place that you can play your snooker.
Does it in some ways, I think the longer formats in other sports, think about test match cricket for instance, when you get to the real crux moments there, the pressure is almost heightened. Is it like that at the World Championship? You might be playing for a few days, and then does it mean that when it comes to the real head at the end of the match, it's even more pressurised than a normal game of snooker?
That's a good point, Roddy. Yeah, that's maybe the reason why I've been involved in so many like massive semi-finals. I think I know I've been involved in many good finals as well, but I think it's the semi-finals that just the drama that it provides to get to that showpiece event. And I think every semi, I think I've maybe only played in one semi-final where it's been won pretty convincingly. The rest of it has been like nearly deciding frames or like 17-15, and at the end of it you're just totally drained, but then you've got to get yourself up for another 2 days of a final. So yeah, it's a tournament like no other.
And as we say, you've obviously put so much work in off the table, and you've been really very, very consistent on it this season. How much of a target is that now, maybe for the rest of your career? Is that the main target, to try and go there and lift that trophy again?
Yeah, I mean, the chances are I might not ever win it again. So I should just be quite really happy and relieved and delighted, and whatever word you can use to describe it. Lucky that I've won it 4 times, which is, as I said, if somebody would have said at the start of my career that I've won it 4 times, it'd be incredible. But that is something, as long as you've got a snooker cue in your hand. You even hear Jimmy White saying it every year, even he's playing, he would love to finish the year as world champion. So that's what I would probably love to do the rest of my career.
And I think we spoke about it as well. If you were to do it, it would be quite unique, because you would have won it over 4 different decades. How much would it mean to lift that trophy and have that record as well?
That could maybe be a record that might never get beaten, probably, I would say. Yeah, it's maybe just the way that obviously the different years have worked out, and what age I am, and different things. But yeah, I don't think that would ever be beaten. But somebody says no chance.
And in looking at this season, you of course won that £150,000 bonus. Do you feel that the consistency is there in your game that perhaps you need over 17 days? It's not a short sprint, you need to have that consistency in your game.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you don't have to play lights out snooker every session to actually win the World Championships. It's just if you can be solid and you can stay in there and you can be involved in most of your matches, and then you hope your best stuff can come out during the event. That can sometimes be good enough for you to win it. So yeah, good point. If your game is consistent enough, you've got every chance going there.
And do you, that we've had so many different winners this season, do you see this as maybe one of the more open ones in recent years? I think we've had other years where there's been very few winners over the season, but I think that this year it seems that anyone in any position in the rankings has been winning tournaments.
I know we do say that, but I think it just always ends up one of the usual top players that ends up winning it. I think that is just because it is over the longer distances. If it was best of 17s every round to the final, possibly it might be different, but I think with it being still best of 25s, best of 33 semi-finals, best of 35 final, I still think it will be really one of the top boys that will prevail.
Well, we can't wait to see how it pans out. Thanks, John.
Cheers, Roddy.